Better a little caution than much regret. That is the advice of Mathon, the gold lender, to the rest of us who work very hard to earn our money, and people are pretty eager to borrow it from us. Hello, this is Palmer, the coach, and welcome to the Coaching Minute. So today we are continuing with our review of the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, and we are on the sixth chapter, which is the gold lender of Babylon. Now, this is a very interesting story that is told with the aim of giving us the lesson of how we ought to behave when people will approach us so that they would borrow money from us. And this is the story of a man called Rodan, who was a spear maker in Babylon. And he would make spears for the king. And he was involved in designing a new spearhead, the point of a spear, that made the king very happy, for his armies would now have good weaponry. And the king rewarded him by giving him 50 pieces of gold. Now, from my reading of what Rodan says he could do with that money, he could buy lands, he could buy a house, he could buy horses and camels. It tells me it was probably equivalent to present day 10 million Kenya shillings, $10,000 or 20 million, whatever the amount, but not a small amount. And as he is walking down the street and he's carrying that money in his purse, he's hearing the jingle of the coins and he's saying, man, you cannot be more fortunate than I am. And he passes by his sister to share the good news and celebrate with her, for her to celebrate with him. When he tells this story to his sister is, of course, very, very happy. And he says, in fact, this is such a blessing to us as a family, because my husband here, as you know, hasn't been very fortunate of late, and he doesn't have much to do. And part of what he has been wanting to do is to become a big merchant in this city of ours. And he is very eager to get hold on some money, go out and buy some good things that he can come and be selling to us here in Babylon and make his money. And now that fortune has smiled upon you, how lucky we are, because now you can lend this money, your gold, to my husband, your brother-in-law, and he will be a successful businessman, and you'll pay back your gold, and he will continue his business. And Rodan finishes his conversation with the sister, and home he goes. Now, throughout that night, Rodan is a troubled man. He had this money that he knew was his. He knows that he has need of it, and it should make him comfortable henceforth. And here is his brother-in-law, and he loves his family, he loves his sister. And he's wondering what to do, because he knows that this could be a risky undertaking. And he gets a good idea that, hey, I know a man and a friend of mine indeed called Mathon, who is the gold lender of Babylon. And how about I go and tell him my problem and seek advice from him? So the following day, very early in the morning, he sets out and goes to visit Mathon. And when Mathon sees him, he says, this is a strange thing happening today. It's not usual that Rodan comes to visit me. So what brings you here? Are you in problems and you'd like to borrow some money from me? And Rodan tells him, no such thing. I do not wish to borrow from you, Mathon, much as you're a good lender, but I have come to seek advice. And Mathon is like, you are a strange creature. Hardly do people come here to look for advice. In fact, people come to borrow money from me, and they want to be done so quickly so that they can go and do whatever they want to do with their money. So please welcome. And he calls his servant and tells him, serve my friend some breakfast to have with me, because he seems to be an interesting person. And they continued to discuss, and Rodan tells him his dilemma. And Mathon laughs and tells him, let me first of all tell you a story about a farmer who could understand the language of animals. This farmer had many animals, and amongst them he had a donkey and he had an ox. And he would use the ox for plowing his land. He would put a plow on the neck, and the ox would work all day. And of course, the donkey would be his animal for transport, and it would carry him around. So one day, coming from work, the farmer would always lurk around the farmyard and around the animals' pen to hear the animals converse, because he understood the language of animals. So the ox comes home tired from a hard day's work one day and is lamenting to the donkey and says, "Man, today I've really, really worked. The rain's about to come. My master has really pushed me and I'm so, so, so tired." And the donkey tells his friend, the ox, that I have an idea. So that you can get some rest tomorrow, when you wake up, don't go and eat. Just stay asleep and groan so that when the servants come for you, they go and tell the master that you are really, really sick and you can't go to plow. And the ox, of course, says that's a good idea. And the next day, he's not waking up, he is groaning, and the servants come and they tell uh, Rodan, or they tell the farmer, today we cannot go to the plow because the ox is sick. And the farmer, of course, had the previous day's conversation. He tells them, go and get the donkey and put the plow on the donkey and let's go to work. And that day, the donkey goes and it's really, really worked on the farm. And he's so frustrated. And when he comes back, it rushes to the ox and tells him, my friend, you better get up and eat because tomorrow you'll go to work. Because I heard the farmer telling the slave to go and check whether you are unwell, and if you cannot go to work tomorrow, he gets the butcher to come and cut your neck and you're going to be meat. And of course, the ox gets up, eats, and is ready for work the following day. And the moral of the story, which is what Mathon tells Rodan, is this: if you must help your friend, help them in such a way that their burden is not transferred from them to you. And basically, that is what Mathon meant to tell Rodan, that if you want to help your brother-in-law, just make sure that he is a man who is able to borrow your money, who is able to do a business that he has experience in, that he understands, so that he stands a chance of paying back your money. And Mathon goes and brings a chest that he keeps precious things, which each of his borrowers must deposit with him as security to confirm that he will be able to pay back any money that Mathon lends him. And he tells him the story of that chest, which includes some things which have been there for long, of borrowers who never repaid, some who died, some who killed themselves out of frustration. And he is giving a caution, therefore, to Mathon that, hey, this gold from the king is your chance for life. You cannot afford to entrust it to somebody who doesn't have experience in the trade he wants to put it to. And most importantly, who cannot give you enough security that you would realize by selling if he is unable to pay back your loan. And that is the advice that he gives Rodan. And Rodan is saying, but how I love my sister. My sister loves me. How shall I be able to give this news to him, that I can't, to her, that I can't help her husband? And Mathon tells him, you are my friend and I'll help you out. Go and tell your sister that if her husband is able to make a proposal, a business plan to me, which I will come and look at and approve as wise, so that I will be myself willing to lend him money, I will then approve that he lends to you money. And that was the advice that Rodan took. And he was able to keep his money safe by not lending it to his friend and brother-in-law, because it was certainly not going to be paid back. And that is what Mathon wants us to learn, and the author of The Richest Man in Babylon, in today's story. That we are not qualified as private individuals quite often to assess whether those who wish to borrow from us have the capacity to repay. We do not have a good way of extracting security from them that we can sell to realize our money if they don't pay us. And fortunately, there are enough money lenders today that anybody needing money can go to, so that they don't jeopardize the long and savings that we have put towards our own financial future and security, and therefore that should not be available to them. So as he says, a little caution is better than great regret. So as you begin this journey of seeking financial security so that you no longer have to worry about money, guard your treasure from loss by not being too quick to lend it to the many who think that you owe them a living because you have made some money for yourself. So that is the coaching minute for today. As always, reach out for a helping hand, and if you can, hold someone else's too. Thank you.